Greetings and salutations, all you beautiful individuals. It is another Wrap Up League Unlock. Eric and Mark here with you guys for a little bit more MSI qualification. LCK starting that road to the midseason invitational with the bang that is Hanwha versus T1, so that the loser gets a day off to recuperate after they have to qualify again for that second seed. But man, this is the redemption story continued, split 1 to split 2. They did the speed run from 10th place to first place. It's Hanwha Life going as that top seed to MSI.
Makes a little more sense the way that you explained it, getting that day off between these matches for the loser. I was thinking that it was a break for us as the fans in this situation, because the stakes and drama and pressure towards these matches, specifically this big one between Hanwha Life and T1, where the winner does move on, was going to be a draining factor for even the fans watching this one. And yes, it is Hanwha Life making the journey all the way from the bottom of the LCK to the tippity top and punching their ticket to MSI. And the victim is T1 on the day. And let's go through this series and not waste any more time, because it's a lot to talk about on both sides of this one.
Yeah, and it started with some peak game of throws in the first two games, and some uncharacteristic misplays for teams that are this high quality and have played so well. And there was level up throughout the series, but really the theme for this whole set was Hanwha Life dominating the early game to varying degrees, and whether or not they held on to that control. In Game 1, it was very much a bend but don't break, as they nearly lost an 8k gold lead before T1 has an egregious mistake that thwarts their comeback and Faker TPs into 5 guys.
Yeah, and it's an overstep. It's one of these cautionary tales of the way that T1 tries to play and tries to be very proactive out there on Summoner's Rift, trying to force these situations, trying to extend and whatnot, and especially in a situation like this, where it was such control from Hanwha Life in the early game, and then mistakes, and frankly, egregious ones, to allow T1 back into more of a controlling state. It's the exact same throw, more or less, from T1 in that regard, that throws it right back into the face of Hanwha Life. Hanwha Life catches and runs off to the races to end Game 1. And Game 2 starts in very similar fashion, with Hanwha Life having a very strong grip and grasp on this game, until a key mistake. And it's only one mistake in this game, too, that throws things right back in the hands of T1. And there is no mistake this time for T1, as they build up to a 9k, 10k gold lead at that point and find a way to smash down the base, quickly making it 1-1 in the series, where it could have been 2-0 for T1 in this one if they hadn't faltered in that Game 1 after they had been gifted back a chance to take that early game.
And I think the Game 2-1 is a little more credit to T1 finding a great team fight. Pays has a insane team fight on the Sivir, where he gets a quadra kill. He's very aggressive. He did like 14,000 more damage than anybody else in that Sivir game. And then you're left going, okay, now we got a series. Even if it was messy and HLE's been in control for most of it, we know that's usually how T1 can scrape out wins, winning games you don't expect them to. But the decider and most important game for me is that third game, and this is really where Kanavi earns his MVP for the series, because he single-handedly wins a couple of these dragon fights, steals. T1 completely loses track of him on the Lee Sin. He sneaks back in to steal not one but 2 different dragons and clean up some of these team fights.
It's gonna sound crazy, or maybe it sounds aggressive, but Kanavi has been unquestionably, to me, the best player in the LCK this split, and the way that he has really transformed not only what his potential and capabilities were from that first split with Hanwha Life, but really everything around him within Hanwha Life and how it is working with his gameplay and strategy. That has been a big one, and this Game 3 is obviously the exclamation point of it all here, and how he does that for the role here, and really suppressing Owner on the other side, and what he was able to do or try to find any traction in this, because it wasn't possible given the patrolling and pathing that was coming through here, and the aggression from Kanavi with the rest of the squad from Hanwha Life, Really thought this was a fantastic game and really one of those ones where he took charge of the series.
And this is, a comp, a Shen Lulu Kog'Maw, and the Kog'Maw, T1 threw everything to kill Guma throughout a lot of these team fights, but the Kog'Maw, despite the whole comp being based around it, was really an afterthought in this whole game.
It's crazy because it was Zeka picking up those kills. It's Kanavi picking up those kills and being that threat that was that problem that you just couldn't come up with an answer for. And this is the real importance of this third game and of this performance of Kanavi, because you look back on that game 2 and you look at the drafting and the shift in momentum here for T1 and identifying, all right, we need to accelerate. This is no longer, early game 1, game 2. We need to start putting that pressure. We need to start picking priority picks now within the draft. And that's why you got the Mbessa so early in game 2 for Doran to come through. And you look at then where that sets you up and what type of champions and what options you have for this game 3. It leaves you lacking in regards when you then are up against that force that was Hanwha Life and specifically, again, Kanavi in this game 3 being the difference maker.
And, the draft problem gets even more apparent in game 4 when you have T1. They banned the Aurora. Okay, great. There's much more. Sure. They also banned the Akali, which, Zeka's fantastic on Akali. We know Faker is also fantastic on Akali. But you end up with a Yone versus Azir matchup. And again, Azir priority has plummeted for teams like outside of a handful here in 2026. And then one of the most comfortable picks that Zeka has in the lineup is the Yone, and he, I think at one point, had over a 4K individual gold lead as, despite inting one of the first plays in game 1, Zeka clearly outmatched Faker throughout this entire set, and the exclamation point was this Yone game.
It's one of those ones where you have to be able to get control of the individual matchup and maintain it all the way through the game, and to maybe even to a stronger degree if you are that Azir in that matchup is where you're going to have that advantage. If you can get it early and you can hold on to it, you can have an angle where you are able to be a pressuring figure, someone that is able to dissuade the Yone from maybe playing in and angling as aggressively as they want to go for some of these plays. That never happened. And especially then if that doesn't happen and you have someone like Zeka who is comfortable and is willing to push a champion like Yone to the lengths that you need to in order to really get the maximum out of this champion, it's a nightmare situation. It never was going to work in that mid lane. And there's other problems in this one that you can extend to, because I think Gumayushi was also quite a factor as well in this fourth and final game of this series as Hanwha Life closes the door on T1.
Yeah, and maybe the actual biggest impact pick was the Blitzcrank for Delight in this one, who constantly got these advantages rolling for HLE, and now seeing Delight not on Enchanters is when I feel like you really see this HLE team start to be unleashed. Obviously, Blitzcrank a little bit more of a pocket pick, but I like jungle, support, and mid lane all heavily go the way of HLE throughout this entire series. They're clearly the better team on the day and deserving of that number 1 seed for the LCK heading to MSI.
I think it's just an unfortunate reality of the landscape that Kyria has changed within the LCK, that now we have this level of support play available to other teams, not just T1. When we're looking around, we've had a lot of praise, of course, for Duro with Gen G and how things have gone. And of course, Delight was someone that we were praising when he was with Gen G, but it feels like, maybe there were some ups, some downs, stalling out within his career. This split, this iteration of Hanwha Life, and specifically this game was an exclamation point of, I think, a rebound or reignition of the growth within his career. And again, goes to show just what type of strength, what is capable from the support position within the LCK.
So obviously, especially because it's T1, high-stakes match, people are going to overreact and say they're completely out of sorts, completely washed, it's over. But realistically, how do we feel about the bounce back for T1? They're going to play again on Sunday against either Gen G or KT for that final LCK spot at MSI. And, Hanwha Life was really good, no question, but equally, no question, T1 was sloppy on the day. They're going to need a serious level up against either squad next round.
Yeah, regardless of who you are getting, a Gen G or an unexpected KT coming on through on that other side, you have to be prepared and have to find a way to get that bounce back if you are T1, both in regards to, your actual performance, but the mental aspect as well, right? From being dispatched like this, and especially the fashion that this series plays out and poor performances. That's where I think I'm cluing in on with this T1 roster. And I got faith that they do bounce back. I think we are going to see a different resounding response from this group. And I think it's one of those ones where not only are you going to try and take away certain little draft aspects from this series and the meta and whatnot, but I think as well just the individual players being through the emotions, going, being on that stage and everything else that it is, getting that type of opportunity first. Now getting to reset and having to come back at it again with a new approach, I think I like T1's chances.
And no squad bounces back even better when they're fully against the wall. Do or die elimination. This was their extra life they still had to play with. And now a reminder, as I recently relearned, the second seed from the LCK goes right into play-in. And Carmine Corp and the second seed from the LCS, we're going to hit them with the 07 because they will be playing either T1, Gen G, or KT.
Oh boy, this is not fair. This is not right. This is definitely something that you can, work around, jigsaw things around when you're talking about a world championship and you're talking about a play-in situation where maybe it's, a second or a third seed from a respective region. Then, okay, we're going to put a fourth seed from the LCK. Surely the fourth best, not the first, second, or third, the fourth best team from this region. Surely you're better than them in a play-in situation, which of course we have seen proven time and time again, thanks to T1, is not a guaranteed type of situation to go running through.
Fourth seeds win worlds now in the LCK, so...
Yeah, and so very much so a different story. And now we're stepping into this one, obviously less teams. And an MSI, you're going to have this type of play-in, and especially in one where there is only one escaping victor from that group. That is impossible to me. If it was a situation where maybe there's two or, a wild card 30, whatever coming out of there, that's acceptable. But when it's only one, wrap it up. It's all done. This one's going to the LCK. And you know what? You got nobody to blame for it but the LPL because they won first stand and made this possible for everybody.
Let's just blow up the MSI bracket. KT and World Elite are the ones that get in for the LCK and LPL. Completely blow things up, and maybe the West would have a chance. But that is it today for League Unlocked. Eric and Mark here with you, Absolute Stunners. Thanks for hanging out. As always, we'll catch you on that flippity flip.